Honorable members, the meeting is called back to order. Hope we have had a good lunch and privileges of Cap 12 that were temporarily suspended, town clerk restored back. Feel free. As long as you are sitting on this table, you are part and parcel of the main parliament. Honorable members, let's pick it up where we ended. Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, I'd like to take the committee or the TC to page 4, but this question is emanating from page 3 actually, which is from Kana constituency, construction of 1x3 classroom block at Parkland Secondary School. Chair, on page 4, just a preamble of this, Chair, this is a contract that was delayed in completion, extended after write-ups that are there in the appendix, but due to the delayments, the TC has explained on page 4. I think after the pictures, before the pictures on top, on the statements saying furthermore, I hope you are following there. Furthermore, management did charge liquidated damages on the delay of the project. So this project, Chair, the council is confirming that it was delayed. So I want, one, to find out this particular charge, how much this contractor was charged, with evidence. I have only seen the letter, Chair, in appendix 1, which is also talking about in appendix 1, Chair. TC, I would like to guide you to appendix 1 on the first, second, third green leaf on notice of effecting liquidation damages. There, you wrote to the contractor, who is Coptech Investments Limited, stating that I'll read a, Chair, which has said, it has come to my attention that you had failed to finish the project within the contract period, despite a series of verbal requests conducted by the project manager. So here, this is what they are alluding to as a charge, but my question is, how much was charged? And then here, they are confirming, the council is confirming that actually the contractor delayed to finish. But when you go to the, certificate of completion, Chair, which is also on this heading by the name of completion certificate. I hope we are there, TC. Thank you. Only, yes, appendix 1. Certificate of completion, you have written on substantial completion certificate of works. You as a council has written that we hereby certify that Coptech Investments, I hope you are seeing that statement I'm reading, on the substantial completion certificate of works. We hereby certify that Coptech Investments Limited has expeditiously completed the works in connection with the technical specification and general conditions of contract. Here, Chair, it raises a query. These contradictory statements given by the council are quite concerning, because here in the completion certificate, the council is stating that actually the contractor completed the works expeditiously. Chair, expeditiously means on time as agreed in the contract. But when you refer to the area documentations I've read, the same council is confirming that actually the contractor was not or did not finish the contract on time. So my question is, which guidance are you giving your committee about this particular contractor, whom you charged for not completing on time, and at the same time you are again certifying to say he expeditiously completed the works? So I want you to just guide your committee what you mean by the this type of completion, which was stated to be expeditious. Meanwhile, the contractor had to write actually for extensions of work, of time to finish off his work. Even the council confirmed that they were actually corresponding with this contractor, both in verbal and in writing. So I just need the TC to explain to this to this committee. At the same time, I just would also like the TC to explain to the committee whether Chair, the council checks these desks before they are supplied, because there is no way, Chair, desks are supplied and within the shortest period of time or before even children sit on them, Chair, desks are warped, the planks are out, and so on and so forth. So do you check these desks before you supply? Chair, I submit. I hope the TC was taking note of those 4 questions.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
I submit, Chair.
TC, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. May I begin maybe by answering the last question? Chair, what I wanted to mention is that at the time of completion and handover, the chairs are inspected and they are in good condition, perfect. You even praise the contractor. But 3 months down the line, they begin to warp. And that's what has been noticed across the constituencies, and perhaps even beyond when we are comparing notes with my colleagues. That's the reason, Chair, if you have noticed on our remedial measures, we did have a meeting with the DEB's office on the possibility of using MDF, because these materials are seasoned. Even when we were still at school, that's the material we sat on from grade 8 up to 12. We left those chairs. So it motivated us to move away from rosewood, which was very expensive, and most of these suppliers were getting them wet. And at the time of delivery, you will not even suspect that they will warp months later. So to answer that question, Chair, inspections are done and certified. But few months later, they begin to warp. Hence, the change to MDF. I would like to just go upon my data engineering just to shed more light on the first question.
Director Engineering.
The first question, just for clarity, is the amount that is charged as liquidated damages on the contract. Can I get, I seek to get confirmation on that? Yes. Okay, so the contract specifies the percentage for liquidated damages for the works, and the typical contract we are using is according to what I'll read out, and GCC 46.1, the liquidated damages for the whole of the works are 0.05% per day. The maximum amount of liquidated damages for the whole of the works is 10% of the final contract price. So this provides the guidance for calculation of the liquidated damages. Chair.
So you don't have a figure of how much you ask the contractor to pay?
Chair, I do not have the payment voucher. That's I
That
referred
is what
to
you
it.
should have said.
I
The
referred
second
to
part
this
of the
as
question?
the guidance, Chair.
Yes. The substantial completion versus the incomplete works?
Thank you, Chair. We have let's play the was wrong.
On Chair.
And if you
to hear more on medium test fiber, the MDF. How I wish you had captured the sample. That would have helped. Because where we stand, rosewood is strong enough. If it is cured, you can't go wrong. So how I wish you brought a sample of this captured. Who is it, your technical team or Deb's team from the side of engineering to use the medium tested fiber?
Town Clerk, additional Honorable Pavyuma.
Maybe TC, since there is no sample of the MDF and all of us here being laymen, no one has got a clue of what an MDF is. Maybe ask a question, is it similar to what they are using, the ones Debs is producing at Helen County? Thank you.
Town Clerk, you may
Yes,
respond.
Chair, that is actually the material. And just to answer it more accurately, we actually had a stakeholders meeting. I think I remember that the constituency offices were fully represented. Deb's office, there was a report, gave the advantages of using MDF and the disadvantages of actually using rosewood. One of them was that it's very, very heavy, even for the learners to lift. So one we saw was that the issue of warping was almost placed in all the desks, because we did not have the technology of ensuring that the wood they are using is dry enough. So they recommended the use of that after a wider consultation. We did the testing and was told actually it's actually thickness 25, 35, and I think 15 if I'm not mistaken. And that's how we came to that particular agreement. To answer that question, yes, some of those desks that Debs is actually assembling at Kitwe Boys is actually MDF.
Follow up on the same.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
Let me start with the only lady we have in the committee. Just introduce yourself, honorable member for Kalulushi.
Thank you, Chair. Kitwe City Council, you are welcome. My name is Kampamba Mlenga. I am a member of parliament for the good people of Kalulushi. Chair, through you, I'm a bit taken aback. I was listening to the wobbly. It's because the wood dry, etc. That is why desks of that nature were taken in by the local authority and distributed through DEBs to various schools. My worry is that during the making of the selected companies, is there no inspection from WEDGO? And even if there is inspection, you are talking about a technology to obviously measure the moisture in the land. Selected they should have mechanical job to actually do the moisture content of wood. So my question is that, is council admitting that you allowed these contractors who, or you deliberately allowed them to rip the council off?
Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I know this has been a very emotive issue way back in Kitwe, because one thing that we discovered is that more than 90% of desks supplied, remember that some of those supplying are actually youth that are graduate of skill development. They are the ones that have been producing these desks. And at the time of delivery, the desks are certified fit for use, even by the DEB's office. But what we are saying to cure this was that because 90% were warping, and continually they were becoming a subject of audit, they did recommend that we return to the use of MDF. Because the difference, Chair, is that for rosewood, for instance, these are pieces of wood put together. So any movement, you will see a very big crack on the middle of it, which you will not see at the time of delivery. Then it's also taking long. Rosewood was difficult to find. Where they go and get it, we are not available. They go and get it. Some of them are traveling as far as the Mwilunga to get rosewood. And once this rosewood is transported, they have a time frame, usually 30 days, to assemble this desk and deliver. So there is that compromise. But when they have finally done with the work, they are satisfied, quite all right. But now what the DEBs were saying, he said, look, even just the use of rosewood, for instance, these are heavy for learners. You are talking of children at grade 2, grade 3, lifting a big desk just to transport it around the classroom or outside. They recommended MDF for many reasons. These are tested materials that were used even before the introduction of rosewood for use as desks in schools. Now, the advantage with using of MDF is that once they are cut according to measurements, they are assembled. So you find one actually dealing with rosewood will take maybe more than 3 months to finish. But for this material, once bought, it's assembled, you will say bye to warping. And we thought this is the best way we can actually say bye to audit queries in relation to desks.
Who recommended rosewood?
Who recommended rosewood?
You have heard me.
Yes, Chair. Who recommended rosewood? It was recommended through the system, even the council. For instance, even us.
Just
Chair.
Be specific. We want to learn as a committee.
Yes.
Rosewood.
There was a mention of hardwood, then we went to rosewood, and it came from Deb's office.
The question is very specific, simple and straightforward.
Exactly, Chair.
Who recommended those? You call them rosewood, you call them, who recommended?
Exactly, Chair. It's actually the same office. Deb's
Which
office.
same office?
Deb's office.
Do we have anywhere they directed you to say use the ones you are recommending now? That someone must have told you to say you should use rosewood. Now that person has changed. May we know, to put it on record here, you were town clerk for Kitwe, who recommended rosewood, which eventually is giving us bad desks which are wappy. And when did the latest instruction come to use the other one? What is it? MDF. Is it written? You share with us. That's my short concern.
Sam, we hear you. If the Deb's office recommended to say let's use our local wood, now they have again changed to say let's use MDF. How do we trust? Because the same MDF, when they get soaked, left in the open, when they get soaked, what happens? It's just fiber. What happens? Chair, we have problems with them. But the question is, if the same Debs said we are using rosewood and the other woods, now the same Debs is saying MDF, how do we trust such?
Town clerk, before I allow other Honorable Pavium and Honorable Mulunda.
I need this, yes. Thank you so much, Chair. I was just consulting my colleagues. What actually came from Debs did not even come from Debs alone. It was actually coming from higher authorities, and we have a circular from Ministry of Education. I think we'll be able to share that, because I think it's very important to share with this. So basically it is arising from that, but we said we will not proceed. Let's also engage other stakeholders to see how best we can actually switch to this particular use of MDF.
Honorable Pavium and then Honorable Mulunda.
Thank you very much, Chair. I did ask Town Clerk if the MDF being referred to is the one Debs is using to produce, because Debs is producing desks. So Town Clerk said yes. So if it is the one, Chair, again we are going to have problems. I'm a beneficiary of 220 desks the Debs is doing from the same type of wood. Same day we were delivering those messages, Minister wanted to demonstrate by sitting on that. He almost died. We just had to hold the minister. So what improvements have they done to what spec? Has there been any improvement from what they are doing, or is the same exactly? Otherwise, it's a disaster. And out of the 220 desks which we received, there should be some 7-8 months ago, almost 70 desks have been packed. They are broken from the same MDF. So we want to find out, has there any improvements made to the same MDF they are using at the Helen Kaunda. They are producing these days at Helen Kaunda. What improvements? Or is it exactly?
No, I'll ask the director engineer just to
Before
come
he
in.
comes, Honorable Munda, follow up on the same.
Because it's alleged that the instructions came through from higher authority to DEBS. Have you had time, because you're saying it's not only your council, but your colleagues around there, do you have time to whisper to your colleagues to go back to that higher authority that we are actually putting the monies to waste? Because it's your submission that after 2-3 months the desks are whopping, yet they gave an instruction. Have you had time as a group to go back and say, look, the monies we are putting into this is just 2-3-4 months and it's a wastage? And what response did you get, if you did? Thank you.
Town Clerk. Director Engineering.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Speak up, we were on TV.
Thank you very much, Chair. The comments that have come from the witnesses are, what I would say, good feedback from the different areas, and it provides guidance. When we...
What feedback? From which witnesses?
The witnesses, the permanent witnesses, the various MPs, members of the committee.
They are not, you are missing the point. Us, we are the ones, we are not giving comments. We are inquiring from you. We are asking you to satisfy this committee and the people why you have been using Rosewood, who instructed you, because we are concerned. We are concerned because we are wasting resources and we are not getting the quality that we desire. Town Clerk, all these concerns are coming because we have been instructed, not instructed, the President has directed that he wants proper, good quality of a project at the right price and delivered on time. 3, these are the guiding principles. Now, if this is, we are procuring desks that cannot last, then are we
following this, the CDF guidelines, which indicate that the end user is supposed to provide the designs and the specifications of these the activities that we facilitate as council. And so we received the drawings and the material specifications for the rosewood, the initial material that was being utilized. After some time of observing how the same was performing, we further received another request from Debs' office.
Share that WhatsApp to our secretary just now. They'll put it on our blog.
That there should be a change of material to be used. Now, before the change of that material, there was also engagement of stakeholders, because the sudden change needed to be communicated to all stakeholders. I think there should be minutes to that effect, that either be shared. And that's how the transition from the rosewood to MDF came about. Chair, my submission.
Honorable Member for me.
The permission to say put on the block. So your secretariat quickly, the moment you said it, it's put on our block. And the letter says, because what? What if they will lift that? And where do we get this fiber? Is it locally or abroad? If we are to bring the cost to no perspective. But that aside, all we are interested in, Chair, is to have quality desks where the pupils will sit like the town clerk indicated that we sat on some desks. We utilize desks and we want our children to do the same. The back and forth may not be of help.
Town clerk, are you confirming that the change was not because of Rosewood warping? It is a ban, it was as an effect, was occasioned by the ban that was on wood, on timber, not what you were telling this committee. Now, are you confirming that?
Chair, I'm confirming because the stakeholders meeting was held.
No, Town Clerk, I wanted just you to justify. Town Clerk, you note that what you are telling this committee, the way you are presenting your issues, you are presenting your issues for the sake of explaining to satisfy not to deal with the issues. Prior to the CDF buying locally made desks, the same other people, other suppliers who were supplying, they were using Rosewood. Town Clerk, my council secretary's name is Kennedy Walia. You know him, Engineer Walia. When you call him, he will tell you, why have the desks delayed? He will tell you, we have delayed because the timber is still being cured. Rosewood, if it is not well, it's not cured, any wood will start warping the moment it dries. And I've seen a door, is it here? There is a door that within a short period, it is opened. One of the projects here. Is what? Yes, it is here. So, what is your role? From the morning session, we are wondering, Town Clerk, are you helping? If you, as technocrats, engineer, you realize that this wood, you supervise and monitoring these people who are making desks, you would go there, you say this timber is not yet cured. I've given you I'm not trying to boast. He will tell you, until the timber is ready. But you people, Town Clerk, you are not doing the correct thing on the desks here. Next question. Your question is fully answered?
It wasn't fully answered. I wanted to find a clarification, Chair, on the meaning of the council by stating that the project was expeditiously completed. Meanwhile, on the other hand, there has been letters of reminding the contractor due to delayed completion of the project. That clarification, Chair, is very important because I'm finding it difficult, Chair, to understand that the works were expeditiously completed. Meanwhile, the project actually took more than the period in the construction.
And normally, Kitwe projects, all of them, if not, minimum is 9 months delay. And even then, they have not been handed over. The question, when you say expediently done, what do you mean, Town Clerk?
Data engineering, I think. Authority
No, it is not technical. It is you. It's your report. You, town clerk, you are saying a project was expediently done. What do you mean? When we Google what is in this English for Kitwe or for general English, when expediently done, what does it mean?
Yes, Chair. I think we did indicate that that is a word which is used on a particular project that has been, executed within the time that was set out for its completion. But my data engineering did indicate that that was not the case for this project. And
So who wrote this?
He was requesting that that word be, be withdrawn. He did submit earlier on.
Honorable Mulunta. Kitwe.
Sorry, maybe because I came a little bit late. So what's the status of this same project?
In the morning it was a project completed, but
The project is complete, Chair.
not this one, the one in the morning. So can you tell us about expediently done, engineer? What you mean and the status of this project?
Chair, I refer to the earlier submission where I indicated that I think it was an inclusion which was not supposed to apply to this, and the observation is correct that we should not use that word expedient on this project, which did not stick to time as per the requirement of the definition.
Honorable follow-up.
Thank you so much. But you are a learned person. You knew very well what transpired. Why did you use it? Or it's just a certificate that you just give anyhow without even going through it, reading and so on? Or you wrote this with the intent to mislead other people that to read this completion certificate? Because Chair, this certificate, the contractor can get it, go and bid in yourself and say, have you seen? Me, I complete projects expeditiously. So can you award me another contract? Are you trying to mislead other people that this contractor is one of the best contractors in Zambia? That's why you gave him an excellent certificate. Because this is an excellent certificate, eh? Or what?
It's excellent certificate.
I submit, sir. Because you are a learned person, so you know the correct usage of these terminologies, and you know the implications it has on the contractor himself, on the council, on the other councils, and anybody else that will read this. Because this is a very powerful recommendation on this particular contractor. I
Town
submit,
clerk.
sir.
Town clerk. These words you are choosing, is it we don't know them, or you just the people of Kitwe, when they hear you that expediently done, they will not understand. This is not, it's a very serious matter. You cannot be using such jargon when you know that even our basic qualification, we know what you mean. You cannot be using this. For me, I take strong exception to this, because you, if we are to call you learned, you cannot be using such English. You just sit and start putting up words that you think that, it reminds me of a certain book I read in literature, Honorable Mulunta. Is it No Longer Teasy, or Things for No Longer Teasy? There were two people who went to learn. One was Joseph Okonko, who came and spoke English, the English that suits the mouth to do. Instead of putting things in the simplest term, describing the status of the project, you want to put words that you think that the people will get confused out there who are listening from Kitwe to see how their money is being used, given to them by the president. Or you are putting words that you think, how do you say a project is expediently done when the project is not well done? How do you say the project is completed when not? question. Next question. Honorable Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. I might summarize the Chamboli market.
In a short, give bullet questions.
Okay. You provided the IPCs for Chamboli market.
Speak up a bit.
You provided the IPCs for Chamboli market. And the latest in Usakili. The latest IPC, which is IPC number 4, it was date of certification. Date of certification was 7th November 2024. And the certified amount was 80,000 kwacha. In the project ledger on appendix number 19, you record 76,840. How do you explain this discrepancy? The second question, Chair, the payment on 7th November included the defective roofing. So council paid
For a defective roof.
Yes.
Defective roofing, yeah.
Yes. The you can see on the IPC that they have submitted, it is an item on structural steel, which is IPC number 4. So they paid 135,358 kwacha. And after paying that money, as they were preparing to come for submission, or interrogation rather, interaction, they wrote a letter to the contractor dated 7th February, isn't it? 2025, which is talking of, it's on appendix 19, yeah? Yeah, appendix 19, site instructions. Letter written to the contractor on the 24th February 2025. That very roof was paid in November, 7th November 2024. And the instructions read in part: you are required to make the following corrections on the roof structure. Find attached. The member sizes of the trusses were not followed as provided for in the BOQ. The BOQ provided 150 millimeter 150 millimeter by 150 millimeter. So adjust to the corrected member sizes. You pay in November 2024, and just because you are appearing, you write this kind of instruction to the contractor that you don't agree to the structural members that the contractor used because they are not in conformity with the BOQ. But you paid in November last year. In 2025, 25th, 24th February, you write this type of letter.
Are you there, engineer?
So the question is, all these IPC chairs, before they are paid, a contractor would issue what he can call a claim to say, I've done these works, I need to be paid. The engineer's office is notified to go and do a joint inspection for measurements. To measure, you're going to measure, you're also going to check the quality. So those are what we call certified works. So you certify that the works have been done in accordance with the specifications. So you go ahead to pay that item that is claimed. You can have some deductions and subtractions or additions if you, because to measure, to the certificate.
Reconcile. Then it included rafters and everything. Then later on, as you knew that you were coming, you went and said, no, this was not properly done. According to the specifications, yours were not the ones recommended. After payment, did you certify the works when you recommended the 135,000 kwacha to be paid, included the roof? That's the question. Director of Finance, you seem to be have more answers, better, maybe to help the engineer and the town clerk. Can you help us?
Thank you, Chair. Just on clarity on the 80,000 and the 76 which was paid. So the IPC has correctly noted it was for 80,000. But then there was a garnish order from ZRI. So maybe with reference to the same ledger, you will find there's another 160. So the claim was 80,000, quite all right. But we subject these claims to ZRI as well. We subject that invoice to ZRI, not 3,160 out of the 80. So the contractor was paid 76, and then ZRI was paid 36. So I mean 3,160. So that's the 3,160 that is appearing on the ledger. The total of those two is 80,000.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the engineer. A quick one. How do you reconcile later on? That's when you say there are these defects. You did not do the correct work according to specification.
Thank you very much, Chair. The observation was noted, yes, in the monitoring process of this project.
Which observation?
The observation of the payment, the witness presented here. We did acknowledge the observations of the auditors, the internal auditor and the external auditor, and to check the quality of works that were on site. We did what was certified.
You pay for which one? Is the internal auditor?
Thank you, Chair. I'm here.
Did you see, were you satisfied that the works were done for you to authorize a payment? Was there from engineering confirming that yes, you can go ahead and pay, all is well. That engineer who said, now the director engineering is condemning and said, no, that was wrong.
Thank you, Chair. Certification of all interim payment certificates are being done by professionals who are engineers, who are subscribed to the engineers of Zambia, EIZ. And so they are the ones who brought the documentation with their certification, and the payment was made. But suffice to say that as internal audit we had inspected, called myself, I was on site. That's when Chair had discovered that the shelter, whatever that was, the material, Chair. And I did raise that red flag, and that's how you see engineering submitting that instruction, Chair. I submit.
That you did that after the post payment?
Yes, Chair.
Engineer, from morning you seem to be washing hands and accepting that engineering department the council queries. What is your role? And what was your role? What makes you feel that those officers, and who are these officers, who have been certifying works which are not in accordance to the specification, and making the government or the council lose money, they are under your charge? May we know what is happening in your department? The auditor said the qualified personnel who belong to EIZ. On the other side, the qualified personnel are authorizing bad works, condemn the projects. Are we comfortable? Kitwe Council, can you explain to us what made them to certify these works, that 135,000 kwacha should be paid?
Chair, to put forward as to what could have motivated us to act in a way that we contrary to what is provided for in the contract. We do acknowledge the omissions and the errors and conduct of the officers, and we have put in measures to try and improve the performance of these officers in terms of project management and also the active participation of EIZ and the NCC in the monitoring process.
The council has been losing resources. Have you charged those officers? For information, town clerk, we have decided to make personal or individual recommendation on individual officers who are found wanting. These are public resources. These are public resources, and the gross negligence is a punishable offense. You cannot just say, no, we're putting measures, what. From the onset, you are carrying out a project without design. The designs are wrong designs 4 times. And these are the officers under your charge. Again, you come to any project that we're going to highlight. It's a problem. So we want to know, otherwise we may take that. We want individual. Let me ask Dr. Mwanza follow up, then Pavio, Honorable Pavio, and then when.
Thank you, Chair. So mine is just an advice. Still have chance to correct the situation because the contractor hasn't yet been paid in full. Well, that's why they're called. So far the contractor has been paid 500 and above. 500,000 and above. So when you are closing in the accounts, make sure that you to recover anything that you have over. To do IPC to a standard. It is not committee with the standard IPC has distributed to all the councils. The details, the format is not, it is not catching pertinent issues. So you might use the new format from the Minister of Local Government to when you're doing the financials for the next IPCs. Now my substantial question.
No, let's allow.
Okay, because
then Honorable Mwene.
Yes. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, mine, I wanted Kitwe City Council to provide that certification which guided them on the people are expected to, the number is quite huge. So an accident may occur. So we need to have on a record that specific officer who made those recommendations through that certificate. So town clerk, do you have that certificate from that officer, that engineer? Obviously his direct supervisor is here, is known. So that specific
that
because the number is somebody, so we are risking a lot of lives.
So town clerk may not mention before. So that, an example, we shall demand, you cannot allow a Kitwe council, one of the model councils, to anarchy. So we shall demand so that we make specific recommendations. Those people who are doing wrong things should not be allowed in the councils anymore. That's how we can go. Honorable Mwene, follow up, quick one.
Yes, a very quick one, Chair. I have heard the engineer there say, you know, they have put up measures, punitive measures to those erring officers. Which measures are those, if you can just kindly illustrate the measures they have put in on those negligent, erring officers in the Kitwe City Council? And if at all they have been put, those measures, where are the examples? Who has been charged? I submit, Chair.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, in our submission, we have a typical case was blown off, and we had the NCC carry out an assessment. We had EIZ carry out assessment and we present a report. They did interview the engineers from the contractor's side, and the contractor is reported to be before the disciplinary committee of the EIZ. The engineer under the local authority was also interviewed by the Engineering Institution of Zambia. We are yet to get a report on the way forward. In-house, we did write him to indicate as to why he should not be charged for professional negligence.
Other issues, but not CDF. That's what you are doing.
No, Chair.
Not to sound to be unfair, Director. There is poor management at Kitwe Council. If you can't do that, you are given a vehicle, town clerk. The government has spoken to you. You have been employed just to do that, to monitor and supervise. To anything. Here is disciplining someone. You write to your own. You are comfortable telling this. You write to for charges. What type of money did you run there? It's not supposed to be answered. You can't.
I'll just make a summary of project procurement. Three in Kwacha, 4 Chimwemwe, 5 Kamfinsa, Usakiri 4, and out of these projects, 11 of them are delayed completion.
Yes.
Which is maybe 51%, and 4 of them poor workmanship, and so poor workmanship. Delayed completion. On average, a project that was signed to be completed within 3 months or 4 months has taken 2 years. Workmanship. Of construction of 1x3 classroom block at Parkland Secondary School.
Yes.
This school, council gives a contract to Coptech Investments for 3 months, from 14 February 2023, ending contractor possesses site. Contractor possessing site, of course, it's a handover by the council to hand over the contract to the contractor to execute the works. 1 month later, the headmaster of the school writes to council to say, this contractor, the plan that you gave him to adopt or to use on our site is for a primary school. The plan of a 1x3 classroom block is for a primary school. We need a plan for a secondary school because this project is to the secondary side, secondary section of Parklands. And in June, when that letter was written, just 1 month, June, which was about 2-3 months later, council convenes CDF meeting to approve the variation in the design from a primary school 1x3 standard to a 1x3 secondary school standard, and then they write to PLGO for approval. PLGO sends back, approves the project in July. That was already 1 month after the official completion of the project. Remember, the contract was signed on 14th February 2023, and end date was 12th May 2023. Council only received an approval of the variation in July, end of July, to approve the design, variation in the design from a primary school standard 1/3 to a secondary school standard 1/3. You are there to conclude, to check the lapses in the administration of this particular contract, and the contract sum remained the same. Now my questions are, when you went to hand over, because project identification from WDCs, it went to CDFC for approval, and the council has a TAUC, the Technical Appraisal Committee, to go and to appraise the project, agree on the standard design, and at handover, you also explain to the beneficiaries what type of project they're expecting on their site. Was technical appraisal for this particular project conducted? Second, the period February to 14th May, this period elapsed, the contract period elapsed with design that should be adopted on this particular site, because you only got approval in July. That was 2 months after the contract period elapsed. And you know, for a plan, when you change the plan, it means additional funding, because dimensions for excavations, volumes of earthworks, a lot of other stuff increases. So my question is, what was the contractor doing between 14th February 2023 up to 12th May 2023 during the construction period? What was it doing on site? Since he could not, there's no way a contractor would start setting out a building which the design hasn't yet been given to him. What was he doing on site during that period?
Just that.
Then the last one, in Kanfinsa constituency, page poor workmanship, construction of 1/3 classroom block at the Mulenga Primary School. This question is to of course, the works department in school, just like I summarized that of 18 projects, 11 of them poor workmanship or delayed completion. But now this is about procurement. The HUG Zambia Limited for construction of 1/3 classroom block at Mulenga Primary School on 19th July 2022 for a period of 2 months, which was ending 16 September 2022. And the project has gone until 17 2024. That's from 2022. It is completed, but with a lot of defects, cracks, flaws, and so on and so forth. Now, the same contractor, he bid for another CDF project in the same constituency, which is construction of 1/2 classroom block at Masuzu. Bid for a project in this constituency on 14th. He was given the contract on 14th February 2023, and the contract was May 2020. And the is, of course, delayed completion. The project has dragged on until 16th of July 2024. 14 months, that's 1 year, almost 1 year and a half. My question on procurement. This is a contract and he was supposed to complete this project 6 September 2022. The contractor, in short, did not perform because of poor workmanship, of which the defects, everything, the stories are there, cracked and the rest. The same contract for another project in 2023, in the same constituency actually, but constituency doesn't matter. But what matters is all these constituencies are managed by the Kitwe Council. So he bid for a project in February 2023, and he was awarded a 1x2 classroom block. So procurement floods. Did the council? In fact, they had an opportunity because this contractor was already had a running contract within the council. In fact, the contract expired already.
It was not terminated?
It was not terminated, and there was poor workmanship. Now, the same contractor participates in this bid.
Masuzio Market.
Masuzio Market. And is awarded the project. Is awarded. At a technical evaluation stage for recommendations of award of contracts, when you're doing tender evaluation, there's always an opportunity to look at the performance of this contractor in past works, in similar works rather. Check if he has got any litigation issues pending in court because of his business. Now, this is the same client that is even struggling with this contractor already on the project of Mulenga. The construction period has ended and poor workmanship, and it is dragged on. Then you award him a project again.
Okay, you have made your case.
I've made the case. So what motivated the procurement team committee to award an erring contractor who has been giving them issues?
Okay, Doc. Town clerk, what the doc is saying, or this committee is saying, does it sound strange? Or it is something you know? If it is something you know, you chair the procurement committee, if we can start from there. As town clerk, I don't know, in Kitwe for a city council. You take time to look at past performance of certain contractors before they are awarded? If yes, why did you go ahead to do this? And the same, again, the same market at Masuzio from the same contractor has problems also. Can you, procurement and the town clerk, help us to understand what is happening in Kitwe?
Mr. Chair, I would want to the procurement committee, head procurement, just to shed more light on what happened, then I can come in just to summarize on how we handle matters of procurement as a PBC.
Thank you, Chair. The way matters have been handled as procurement, like in this case, the area contract was completed and certified. I think we had no indication at that moment that there were some defects that were communicated to us through the project manager. So the second contract was purely treated as a new contract based on the performance that was given to us.
When was the Mulenga Primary School completed? we are asking you as a witness, whoever final completion Mulenga Primary School, because it's one of the completion. If no, don't hand over these things. Some councils will really say, no, this month or that month, no specific date. You know Mulenga Primary School. It's in Kitwe, isn't it? Yeah. Honorable member.
Or the town clerk general. All these, more especially with contractual works, on all contracts, it's delayed, poor workmanship. I know when and on some beneficiaries have orientation engagement in Kitwe with our contractors. Chair, just for my sake, in Kitwe, because throughout here, poor workmanship. Do we engage our contractors? I know you have that.
Town clerk.
Chair, thank you so much for that question. Truly, indeed, we have had that kind of engagement with our contractors. In fact, each time when we are signing contracts, there is always an exit meeting of caution to talk about the public funds that they're going to handle and the ultimate beneficiaries of those public projects as end users. One thing, Chair, which I can confess is that when we began, and we are talking of 2023, I think we had just begun. There was a moment where we were almost not sure about the track record of some of these contractors. But we are now able to know who can perform and who cannot perform. There are instances where contractors, where the contractors have been terminated, have actually been blacklisted. We also now have contractors who can perform.
We can take the whole day.
20 for Mulenga.
Dr. Mwanza.
The officer said when they were bid evaluation for
Masuzio,
the contractor Hague Zambia Limited, they treated this contract as exclusively independent from the Mulenga performance, because the contractor performed on Mulenga. The contractor performed. Is why they could not link the past performance.
That's what the submission
says. But here is the evidence. The contract for the contract at Mulenga was awarded in November. It was awarded in the previous year. It was awarded on the 19th July 2022. Let's follow the timelines. Mulenga project was awarded on 19th July 2022, and it was for a period of 2 months, ending 16 September 2022. Then for Masuzio was awarded on 14th February. That is almost 4 months later, 5 months later. During this period, the performance for HAG on Mulenga, he prolongated the construction period because the contract was supposed to complete on 16 September 2022. How can procurement say the performance of HAG Zambia on Mulenga was satisfactory because the project was complete? How was it complete? Because by the time you're awarding him on 14th February 2023, the project at Mulenga was incomplete.
Still outstanding.
Which was still outstanding.
The word complete for Kitwe. Complete, and which other word when they said? Expeditiously. These are normal because you can't expect a procurement officer who doesn't understand this. The project for Mulenga was still not concluded, no termination. And for him, that is normal for Kitwe. That's why they gave him another contract. So what I'm saying, honorable members, is that as for Kitwe, we can take even the whole week. One council which has more than 90 queries, and all of them, you have summarized very well, Doc. All of them, Honorable Mutero also has said, all of them is delayed completion. 47 weeks, one project. I will read them. The other project, from the day of expected date of completion, 1 year plus. If the delay is reasonable, it is 8 months. Months, not weeks, for Kitwe. So, it is not strange for the procurement himself to respond like that. We are worried. We are worried with the engineer. We are worried with the town clerk. The town clerk, for me, the body language, it seems that he is not in control. Because everything, for this is chaired by the town clerk in a small council, a council secretary. Procurement, you are supposed to do due diligence. Who is this contractor? And the town clerk is saying, no, 2023, that's when we are starting. The council has qualified personnel. You can't justify failure from the onset when you have the engineers who understand their work, you have procurement who understand their work. So things are done wrongly. When are you going to say, we have? So, we have reached the time that you are doing a correct thing, like this. Icona man. Chair, short one, then I want to wind up.
Chair, I just wanted to...
Whatever okay, giving you opportunity.
Okay, in addition to those, chairperson is worrying that projects are not complete, projects are delayed, and we have our officers. I wanted to find out, chairperson, I came a bit late. How is the administrative component in the midst of these delayed and uncompleted projects?
Take note of that. They have put up some schedules of the percentages of each project, even skills. I will allow Honorable Kalobo. Then Dr. Mwanza, you conclude.
Thank you very much.
Take note of what Honorable Munda has asked.
A short one, but very pressing. Page 65. Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development, bursaries. Chair, here we are told that they have a total of 3,830 students under skills development in all 5 constituencies, at a total of 29,784,829. And in their conclusion, on this same submission on the remedial measures, they are telling us that with the increased CDF funding, Council will continue to provide 100% sponsorship under bursaries for the applicants. Chair, the people who benefit from this are those ones drawn from vulnerable families, those who are unable to send their children to school. And we have girl children, we have our boys who are just youths, and now we have bad behavior where our young boys are becoming junkies because of lack of what to do. So these students who are at Notec, Kitwe Trades, Lukasha Trades, and the other trade schools who are supposed to be receiving money to support themselves in terms of food. The trend that we have observed ever since we started this undertaking, Chair, is that they are paid money for their food a week before closure in each semester, or the following semester. The month will lapse. Just for example, like this semester, they've not received anything. They are almost closing. It's a week before closing. And look at a girl child in a town like where Notec is in a town. They are so vulnerable. How are they feeding themselves? What kind of negligence? When we are saying we have 36 million CDF, how can CDF be a game changer in Busakire? How can CDF be a game changer in Kamfinsa and Kana constituency, Chimwema? How can it be a game changer when we have drawn children from vulnerable families and we are failing to support them? Just packing them in higher learning institutions without food. How are they going to learn? So, team, what challenges are you having in the midst of abundance? What challenges are you facing? Why are you delaying to pay food allowance for these students? And you know, no one can study, no one can work without food. Why are we subjecting our young learners, especially those ones from Busakire, to this type of mistreatment? I thank you, Chair.
Is it true? TF.
Thank you, Chair. I think, of course, in the year under review, I think we didn't have much delays. But what I assume probably the Honorable Member is referring to is the current situation, the 2025. Maybe simply because we haven't yet received the funding for the 2025 year. But for the 2023, 2022, I think those challenges were not there. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mtero.
Just a follow-up. How do you receive funding for 2025? Is it not tagged as per your request? So have you done the request? If you have done, then the money must come to you. Chair, all the monies are in what they call in their language holding account. As long as Kitwe says we have this and this and this, please give us, the Treasury will release the money. And they are saying yes.
Short one. Short one.
You're still itching too?
Yes.
Short.
But allow me take this. The chair is almost winding. Town clerk, is CDF a good thing? This vessel. If it is, what are the bottlenecks? How do we handle those bottlenecks? Chair, procurement. How is the EGP system in Kitwe? What is your word? Like we are talking on the bursaries, but on loans component in Kitwe. But if we were to go project by project in this encyclopedia, we were going to take minimum of 4 days, a week to say. But on what have asked, how are things in Kitwe? Chair, thank you so very much. Because
allow
you are in the
Thank you. Our learners, they receive a week before closure. This 29,784 that has been spent so far on skills development, where is the exhibit which includes the date the head count was done, the date this recipient signed, and if charges were issued, where is the exhibit? Because the submission chair, they have not tendered any evidence so that we compare what you are saying, because year in, year out, it's me who's been calling you DF so that these people are paid in good, our students are paid in good time. Where is the exhibit? So that even my colleagues in the committee can help scrutinize. Where is the exhibit? Thank you, Chair.
DF, then I would like allow Dr. Mwanza, last one. I want to conclude.
Thank you, Chair. It's just that, of course, the evidence we do have. What we concentrated on was, I think, the issues of the queries on the graduates, because I think the analysis is pointing more on the issues of the graduates. These graduated and these who didn't graduate. Otherwise, in terms of the evidence for expenditure and everything, the audit, on the last quorum, Chair, you will notice that the audit highlighted an amount of 30 million, 30.7, which I think they saw all the evidence in terms of the payments. I think the issue was being how many have graduated against those that were taken into sport. Unlike the expenditure itself, because the expenditure, I think, like I've indicated, Chair, it was already, I think, verified by the Auditor General. On the last quorum, they indicated.
About it as I conclude. And please be precise.
And no, for me, of course, I'm just airing for answers on what was the contractor doing at
the question
Parkland, during the period that the design was not yet concluded. And procurement, a similar situation, Chair, happened in Kana constituency. This contractor for construction of 1x5 classroom block.
Yes, I saw that. Right.
And the contract was terminated. Then they awarded the contract to another contractor called Platinex. The first contractor was at Kamakondo was
it's fine. We read
Danpa Industries got a project for 1x5 classroom block, and the contract terminated, matters in court and so on. Then they got another contractor to finish the job, Platinex. This Platinex area has a contract with the same Kitwe City Council, a contract for completion of 1x3 classroom block at Mukuba Primary School. And this his performance on this contract was very, very, very unsatisfactory. Poor workmanship, and he had an opportunity, second opportunity, when the first contractor at that school for 1x5 classroom block contract was terminated. Then council gave him a contract 1x3 and full of poor workmanship and so on. This is on the other project in projects in council. So at evaluation stage, when you're evaluating these contractors, even these contractors are your clients. Why don't they? I mean, is due past contracts? Why is it not conducted? When they have an opportunity, these contractors have a job. It is very difficult to actually to check the performance of a contractor for a job that is cited, which he didn't do with you. But in this case, when the same contractor has some pending you and you evaluate his performance already, you know, at the end,
give him another contract.
You give him another contract. Why? What motivates Kitwe City Council? Contract and yet clients.
I don't want to say because town clerk has no answers. So I'll ask the directors. Director engineering. Your name is? Head of procurement.
Yes, Chair. On these two scenarios that have been cited.
There are many, all of them.
Specifically on the Kamakonde and the Kandabwe. I think the first query on the Kandabwe on the contractor was basically on the desk, not on the structure works, because when we are considering for Kandabwe, which was more or less like a disaster, we had to go back to our database on people that have performed in terms of structural outcomes. So these were was that base that was used.
So because it failed on the desks, that is okay. On the building, the structure, you can do it. That's what you're telling this committee.
No, it was on the desk, Chair.
So you're justifying that it's fine?
No, Chair. We on the desk remedial measures were.
No, what you are saying that actually the basis was that because it did not fail on the structural projects, it was the desks. So he failed on the desks. That's why we considered him. That's what you are telling, submitting this to this committee.
Yes, Chair, on the structure part.
So that's what the basis was. He can fail on another contract. The question is, airing contractors. If someone is failing to deliver desks, it's an issue. You have to act. Why someone who is given a contract to deliver desks, it delivers poor quality and the council is not satisfied, Zambians are not satisfied, the people of Kitwe are not satisfied. He has failed you on this contract. So how do you give him the same person? And this is almost in all the projects. We have read this report. I tell you. At a certain point I asked the town clerk, if you had to sit here and look at this report, then make comment or decisions and look at these officers. So we can take a week, as Honorable Mtero and others have indicated. For Kitwe, it's a disaster. Town clerk, we are very disappointed. We are very disappointed as a committee in the manner you are managing Kitwe Council. The management style is questionable. You have engineers who are failing under your charge. You cannot charge them. You can say, no, we wrote to them, they have not responded. The entire report on the 5 constituencies, Kwacha, Usakiri, Nkana, Chimwemwe, and Kamfisa. All these, I'm happy one of the members analyzed and summarized them. Community projects, over 18, across the 5 constituencies, summarized in 2. Delayed completion. One of the projects should be a 1/5. You have even written that the project is ready for inspection. From 2023 to 2025, it has been well explained by Dr. Mwanza. Now, you are telling who ready for inspection. Earlier on, we indicated that on the 3 directives, that you should have a project delivered on time, at the right price, and you have failed. Because a delayed project attracts a variation. The minimum, if you check this report, we are not being unfair to you. The minimum delayed period is 8 months. And for them, for you, maybe we should clap for you for that project. But the standard for Kitwe delay is 1 year plus. There is one project, 47 weeks, another one, 1 year, something. Most of them in that range. Now, what are you telling government? Why are you there? Of course, you have emotions and feelings. Now, when you sit there or you report for work, what did you tell yourselves? To go and do what? Is this the best you can give to your nation? There is an issue of unspent funds. What Honorable Pavyuma has indicated is correct. When you look at bursaries, most of the constituencies unspent funds in the year 2023. Meaning what? There are youths there yearning to get this support from a well-meaning government. Some of them, we have picked them. Some of them have not been picked. If those have been picked, the monies cannot be spent on time. Construction of a wall fence, delayed, is it for 8 months? A wall fence is here. Let me read it. Delayed completion of project. Construction of wall fence at Mamamonti 2023. A wall fence. If it were at our homes, you can't take even a month. Materials being there, town clerk. Are we being fair? So when the government is said we have released the money and the CDF is the channel for our development, the people are excited. When they look at the council in Kitwe, 2023 receiving 140 million plus, all the 5, work done, then they are given more money in 2024. How do we rate ourselves? It's an indictment on your part. You have to question yourselves. If this was a basis of promoting you, or not even promoting, or justifying your presence in the council, in words, one would morally say, I've failed. A simple up to now is not complete. Marketeers have to challenge that one. This committee, can it do this? Town clerk. We are emotionally affected. At the end of the day, it's us, the member, it's the president who is questioned. This president is just talking when we are not getting these things. What do you want the president to come down? I've worked in the councils. At a certain point when people say, I think the councils are not the right channel, when you look at this report, sometimes you may agree. But it's not the case. If you look at Kitwe, government which has said councils, here is something that you should do. Here is the money. Give the youths, pay for them. You are paying them as they are closing schools. What are they eating? How are they surviving? Honorable Mutero indicated, you are not the only money giving money for bursaries. You should ask yourselves, what is the magic that your friends are using? In the other councils, with the Rufunsa Member of Parliament, shining. Rufunsa council here. And I can boast of my council. Mutero was boasting about Mitete. And you town clerk, you are hearing, there was one class, one school in Mitete before this enhanced CDF, which had a roof. Go to Mitete now. But why not Kitwe? And they procure things which you can't do that, Ioane. You can't do it. One does wrong things, you cannot even charge that person. Remember, you came one by one. So as I said, town clerk, we are going to make a general recommendation to the commission, and we are happy the commission is there. The ministry is not happy. Everyone is not happy. Internal controls are not there. We are happy at least internal control. You went after to authorize the 135,000. You went to check that you were paid for works which were not properly done. And I think you had some people to say, I think what we have paid is not in order. Then after you made that 135,000 payment, that's when now you wrote a letter now, engineering, as you were coming. Although we paid you, you didn't do a correct thing. Where on earth? So we can talk and talk and talk, but we want the people of Zambia to know, not all councils. Honorable Mutero says, is CDF a game changer? Those of you who want to frustrate CDF, we are not going to allow you. We are going to make recommendations, and we shall protest if they are keeping you continue doing wrong things. Because you are a danger to the development of this country. Maybe you can do well somewhere else. This is not good. The report is bad. We are going to go with it as a bad report. and we are going to make recommendations. Do a good job. If you are there getting a salary, you have surrendered yourself to work for the people of Kitwe. They want to see good things done. With that said, I would like to withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you earlier on. From now on, you are on your own. We wish you well as you go back to Kitwe. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for being with us on Parliament Television today, which is the 7th day in the month of April 2025. Thus, the local authority from the Copper Belt and thus the Kitwe City Council being led by Mr. Patrick Kambita, who is the town clerk from Copper Belt, Kitwe to be precise. And according to the ministers, after having that long deliberation with the local authority. Remember, this committee started in the morning, and according to the committee's final remarks and their findings, they did say that the Auditor General's report for the financial year ended 31st December 2023 reviews notable governance and financial management shortcomings at Kitwe City Council. These include delay project execution, procurement delays, and contractor inefficiencies affected the timely implementation of the Constituency Development Fund. And also, it did talk about the low CDF utilization. Kitwe was found that the substantial portion of the delayed disbursement and procurement bottlenecks were noted in the Auditor General's report. And in conclusion, the chairperson did highlight that Kitwe City Council must commit to in governance, procurement, and have quite a number of local authorities yet to make their submissions today to the Local Government Accounts Committee. Remember, they keep on interacting with these various local authorities across the city on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. We still have Lufwanyama to make their submission today, and we expect another local authority to end the day, and this is Luansha Municipal Council. My name is Posent Indovi. Do remember that I do have Jason Manda and Chola Kaoma as the sign language interpreter. We'll now take a short break, and once the committee reconvenes for the next witness, I'll be able to let you in on the next witness that will make their submission today. Keep watching Parliament Television.
About to get more exciting with on Top Star for an affordable price on the Antenna Classic OG Smart. Refresh yourself with the best Spanish football in La Liga as Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid fight for the top spot. Who will be kings of Spain this season? Also watch out for the Bundesliga excitement with Bayern leading the table all live on your favorite sports channels. Care for more? Catch up with the best telenovelas, Equips of the Heart, showing from Monday to Saturday at 19 hours, and the Shadow Team airing airing daily at 21:30 hours on Novella E+. So, entertain your life by grabbing yourself a Topstar decoder now. Topstar, enjoy digital life.
I showed you my closet, for did you remain, please? Kala no for some